This is The Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
I was wrong. The Alabama Crimson Tide are dancing on to the Sweet 16 despite me spending about the past 2 months telling everybody in the world that they would not. Crimson Tide come out and really just put together an impressive weekend of basketball, beating Hofstra, beating Texas Tech. Now, when I made that prediction that Alabama wouldn't make the Sweet 16, I did not anticipate the round of 32 opponent shooting 16% from beyond the arc. But predictions make fools out of all men, as people have said before. So Alabama, you got me. I said you wouldn't make it here, and you did. Oh, you guys an apology. I was not familiar with your game.
Oh, Theo, we're alive. We're still alive. Alabama basketball survived and advanced. Are you trying to say that maybe Alabama was a little lucky to run into a team that only plays a rotation of 6 or 7 guys and only plays no real formidable threats in the front court and also only made 4 3-point shots?
When you take into account that one of the 5 seeds was St. John's and one of them was Texas Tech, I'll let you guys draw your own conclusion on the quality of the draw.
Well, Alabama whooped St. John's already.
Yeah.
4 months ago.
You know there would be no 30-point blowout against St. John's. Let's just say that I was already starting to question my prediction a little when that draw came out. And after a whole, 2 months of win streak, will I stand strong? No, I'm never going to back off this take. That draw came out, and I knew deep down I should probably, but you got to stand on what you said, right?
10 toes down.
10 toes down.
There we go.
And I still thought there was a real shot Alabama would have fallen short with some of the stuff we've seen from the team. But, man, just an impressive performance. Yes, you had the poor shot making from Texas Tech. Yes, you had the thin rotation. Yes, you had the pretty lackluster bigs, a team that struggles with rebounding more than Alabama does. But you also had a Crimson Tide team that came prepared, that there was no question about their intensity. There was no question about, are we ready for this? Do we understand the stakes? The team that truly played with a sense of urgency for 80 minutes over the weekend. Haven't been able to say that much about this roster.
Absolutely. It was a very impressive 2 games down in Tampa. And we're back live in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios right here in Tuscaloosa. Call Derek Daniel for all of your insurance needs at 205-758-3391. Like a good neighbor, Derek Daniel is there. We are going to talk about Alabama basketball, their weekend. We're going to talk about Texas Tech, that game. We'll move into a little spring football. We've got 2 voicemails from our friend Dax. You can call on the voicemail machine at 205-462-7340 extension 800. If you want to have your voice be a part of the program, we would love to take your thoughts on the Crimson Tide's weekend, winning it down in Tampa, or looking ahead to the Michigan Wolverines. I've already got a big text from Alpha Alexander Lincoln saying Michigan is formidable. Yes, sir. Great observation. They are. It's going to be a huge challenge on Friday as Alabama goes up to Chicago to face the Michigan Wolverines in the Sweet 16. So we're going to talk about that as we get through the week. But spring football is back in action today. The boys had spring break off, and they are back in action. I think they returned yesterday for practice. We will have a little bit of media with the Alabama football team today at 11. You'll be able to see that on the Bama Central YouTube channel, so we'll talk about that also. We're going to have a lot of fun today catching up on the weekend. It wasn't all about basketball and spring football, but baseball had a huge bounce back. Theo covering it remotely. We talked just a teeny bit about Tyler Fay on Saturday morning, but the rest of the baseball team rallied all around the Friday night performance and ended up sweeping the Florida Gators. So as much wishy-washy as we had about Alabama baseball going into the weekend, they bounced back and had a really nice performance, really nice weekend, beating Florida 3 games in a row. We'll hear about that just a little bit as well. There's a lot to get into, so you can call on the voicemail line. You can leave us comments if you want at Bama Central on the YouTube channel, at Joe Gaither 6, at Theo Fernandez _. You can just have a lot of fun with us right here in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios. We're brought to you by Purple Turtle Roofing as well. Visit them at at roofturtle.com, right, to check out all their products and services and get familiar with how they can serve you. They can give you a free roof inspection. All you got to do is go schedule it on roofturtle.com, and they will come out and check out your roof ahead of, well, we're in the middle of the spring storm season. There will be more storms ahead, and you want to make sure you have the peace of mind that you deserve in your home. So check them out at roofturtle.com. He is Theo Fernandez, _, and he is a real man owning his take right off the bat. Theo, how was the weekend? How are you? I know we drove back all day yesterday. I slept basically as soon as I was home most of the night. I DoorDashed some dinner, ate it, and went right back to sleep. How are you? How was the travel? How we doing? Let's get a Theo Fernandez temperature check.
That was the best work weekend of my life right there.
Woo!
In Tampa Bay. Like I covered the Sweet 16 Elite 8 last year. I covered the Rose Bowl. Gotten to do some great Alabama football. But that was that was awesome. Coming in.
What made it so special for you? Keep going.
I was prepared. I was prepared. I had stories I wanted to write, and I really, for the first time, had my, finger not just on the pulse, but, fully all over it, And I was prepared. I was ready. And it's just, I love this sport, right? And coming in and getting to cover the first weekend of March Madness, like standing 12 feet away from where, Iowa hit a game winner to eliminate the national champions, and then watching a player go and, hug his parents who were there watching the game from Spain, right? And have just seen an all-time moment from this. Like, this is March, man, and it is so special. And getting to be there and be a part of it and tell stories and be a part of the way that people consume that content, it was a gratifying experience. So grateful for that. And just what a weekend, man.
It was a lot of fun. We were blessed, very blessed, with smooth travel down to Tampa and back. Obviously on the roads, but no real hiccups on the road. So very, very big blessing right there. And then blessed with our accommodations to have that shuttle going back and forth from the hotel all weekend long. Kind of gave us all a little more freedom. We were all a unit, a team unit, but sometimes you don't always need to be with the team, and the shuttle was helpful for that. I thought it was a great weekend. I thought all the basketball was really, really exciting. And everything, all the games that were in Tampa. I mean, obviously you had Akron, they went down by 20. Same with Hofstra, went down by 20. But I thought both of those mid-majors, those underdogs, gave Texas Tech and Alabama a little bit of trouble, not a little bit of fight through both of their games, with Texas Tech and Alabama both pulling away late to have that big margin. And then the other set of four. I mean, Florida beat the pants off of, it was Prairie View. Was that? Yeah, beat the pants off of Prairie View. And so I'm sitting there at a Mexican restaurant. You were watching it first.
I'm not leaving March.
And I thought, wow, like, great for Florida. You got a huge win. It was like 65-point win, 60-point win. And then we're there on Sunday, and Florida's playing Iowa. And Iowa had just played a pretty tight game with Clemson, 5-6 point game with Clemson. So I did stay for that game, and both fan bases are going nuts. You're in there on Sunday, and Iowa just jumps right out in front. Okay, not that big of a deal. It's 8-point lead early on Florida. Florida digs back in. Yeah, I believe it was a 2-point game at halftime. But I thought to myself, that 65-point game against Prairie View didn't prepare you to play the next round in the NCAA tournament, because I think it gave you a little false sense of confidence. Oh, we smacked them by 65. Well, it was Prairie View. And Iowa, we are a real program. They jumped right on Florida, and it was just a little bit of the pressure in the building. It was just a little higher tension, a little higher. Every missed shot at the rim for Florida, every hand locked in or Alex Condon bounce off the back of the rim. Chinny Lou didn't even score. Like, while you just feel, the anxiety in the arena is just creeping up. And behind us, you mentioned it, we were sitting right in front of the Iowa Friends and Family section, and behind us, the Iowa faithful were sensing it as well. Oh, we've got this. We're going to do this. It's building. We're going to do this. We're going to take down the first number 1 seed. We can. Rah, rah, rah. Higher. And the small contingent of the Iowa faithful battling all of the Florida faithful in Benchmark International Arena. It was just, so exciting that I walked into that Sunday night not feeling so hot mentally, emotionally, spiritually, just not feeling so hot, a little kind of down. And as that game was going, my spirits and my energy was going to tick up, tick up, tick up, tick up. And by the time that shot hit, we were sitting there, Henry and myself, and Bennett Sturts is their big player for Iowa. He's 0 of 9 from 3. And we're looking at each other like, if I had the pen here, I'm writing Bennett Sturts 1 for 10, and he hits the game winner. Well, no, they Florida was trying to keep the ball away from him, so it finds Fulgeris, and not a good 3-point shooter, but he has no fear and just sends it flying and made a 3. And I thought, oh man, that's much better penmanship, because the fight that Fulgeris got into earlier in the game, and Todd Golden wanting him kicked out of the game, and his family right on the front row basically saying, oh, don't kick him out of the game, and him fighting to stay in, and they have good minutes, and then bam, he hits the 3-point shot, grabs his mother like he hadn't seen her in 10 years, and who knows when the last time he saw her. And so what a moment it was leading into Alabama and Texas Tech. And by that point, I was like, oh, I'm not feeling bad at all anymore. I am not on 4. I'm on 12, ready to go. And Alabama basketball took it seriously and said, oh, we don't care about 9:45 tip. We're going to come right out here and take it to you. I think Texas Tech scored the first bucket of the game, but then it was Reitzel getting up with a 3-point shot. Offensive rebounding, their tails off, and so Texas Tech struggled on the glass all season long, and obviously without JT Toppin was a little worse for wear in the last part of the season. So Alabama really took advantage of that and made a lot of second shot opportunities. I think it was 12 offensive rebounds in the first half, ultimately leading to more opportunity. I think Alabama took 8 more field goals in the first half and buried Texas Tech. Not much they could do. Christian Anderson was off of his game from the very start, and I wonder if the legs, LeBaron after the game saying, "Oh, they were grabbing their knees, they were tired," and we just all looked at each other like we got to keep ramping it up to make them more tired and really break their will. And so it's great to hear. Great to hear Alabama taking it seriously. You heard from Noah Williamson, Houston Millett, and Latrell Reitzel on the dais after the game, and all of them talked about how they didn't want it to be their last game, and talking about bringing intensity, and talking about they spent all day, we complained. Well, I complained. I don't want to put that in your mouth. I complained about the late tip-off time, but it seems like the late tip-off time, Theo, really allowed them to understand, I've got all day sitting around this hotel room. I've already watched Kentucky and Otega Oweh get smacked by Iowa State. I've already watched some of these games where people are crying and they're going home, and it's over for Kentucky. It's over for these games for Florida right there. It's over for you. The season's over. No back-to-back national championships for you. Not even a Sweet 16 for you Florida Gators. I think that the earlier games set in. Oh, if we don't play tonight, season's done. I have no more college basketball left. I'm Noah Williamson. I have no more college basketball left. I'm Houston Millett. No more college. I mean, Latrell Reitzel was as vocal this weekend as I have ever heard or seen him be vocal, not only in the Sunday game, but also in the Friday game, rah-rah and his teammates and getting them, hey, intensity up, let's go, next level, we're pushing the pace, we're pushing the intensity, we're getting after it on defense. He was not really vulgar, but very, very vocal as far as, come on, more defense, come on, they're not ready, come on, we're ready, let's go. And just the urgency was at an all-time high. And I walked away. I walked out of Benchmark International Arena on Monday morning. You were right there with you, Theo, at 2 a.m. thinking, wow, remember how it was like on the bubble. And here is Alabama basketball again, going to their 4th straight Sweet 16 after a really, really great 2-game performance in Tampa.
That was phenomenal. And just back to what you said about just the readiness and the urgency and the leadership and the Millett and Reitzel's role on this team. It's almost impossible to overstate what they have done for this group.
Mm-hmm. I would die for this university, Houston Millett.
That is an all-time soundbite. That soundbite will be played back and used in Alabama like hype videos, and that should be in the hype video next year, honestly.
Yes,
right?
on Friday. Put it in there on Friday.
Yeah. Now, what a moment. And you just look at this team, right? And you were 4-4 in SEC play. You go on this nice little win streak and you're doing things right. And look, there were plenty of flaws still. You guys know that everything wasn't perfect during that win streak, but you showed that you could be an elite level team. And then just the crash down to earth. We go out and we play a hard game against a bad Ole Miss team. Yes, they were streaky. Yes, it was the SEC tournament. They're a bad team.
Yeah.
And you were not ready for that game. And you do not understand the stakes of that game. And there all this different stuff that we talked about. And then to have the Aiden Holloway stuff go down and to respond to all of that with what I would consider two of your most complete performances of the season. Like you look at, I'd consider the St. John's game. Yeah, that's a great complete performance. The Auburn game.
Good call.
There's, a complete, we showed up for 40 minutes and we played. There are not a lot of games on the schedule. And yes, there are more besides just those two, but there aren't all that many that I would highlight as being complete 40-minute performances.
Totally agree.
And I was very concerned, not just concerned, I didn't expect the team to put together two of those performances this weekend, and they did. That all circles back to the senior leadership where we have this talent. We have LeBaron Philon, who we'll talk about Philon next. Like, he did some nice stuff over the weekend.
Philon.
But you have the talent, and then you have these leaders that, first of all, I mean, Reitzel and Millette were great over the weekend, but also just the biggest impact for them will always be what they do in the locker room, what they do for this unit. And it was great to see in action this weekend.
Is my math right? 11 of 16. Yeah, 5 of 7 and 6 of 9 is 11 of 16 from behind the arc for those two guys on Sunday night, Littrell and Houston.
It's incredible.
Yeah, so what's the best place to start here? Because we already sort of talked about the Hofstra game on Saturday morning, yes. And so it's really all about the Texas Tech game, setting up the Michigan game ahead just a little bit. We do have a voicemail from my friend Dax where he's going to talk about basketball, and then he will help us get into football a little bit, talking about some All-Americans as well. So he's got a double voicemail today. LeBaron is probably the best place to just kind of kick this thing off. We talked about LeBaron, his near 30-point triple-double on Saturday morning from his performance against Hofstra. And then he almost had another triple-double this against Texas Tech, but 9.6 rebounds, 12 assists officially for LeBaron. And if I told you before the game, Theo, that Alabama is going to win by 25, but LeBaron's only going to score 9 points. LeBaron is going to go 2 of 12 from the field and only score 9 points. Would you believe me?
If you told me LeBaron was going to shoot 2 for 12, I would have had a hard time believing we even won that game. Forget the blowout. Like, it was one of the most impressive performances I've seen from Philon in his career. Because you go out and you have a horrible shooting night. And like some of those misses, let's be frank, some of them were bad misses. Like, you guys saw him like go right up to the hole in a shot. He finishes 90% of the time and it doesn't fall.
Mm-hmm.
You would have thought the way he was like, you would have thought he was having a 24-point performance. The way you watched him out on the court and the confidence never dipped. And he was the same guy he always is. He controlled that basketball game. You look at what he did, first of all, crashing the glass, right? This is a guy who averages averaged under 3.5 rebounds per game entering the tournament. He had a great performance on the glass against Hofstra, and he did it against Texas Tech, against a bunch of Texas Tech guards that are all solid rebound. Like, they all crash, right? Obviously, their big men were bad on the glass, so the guards all crash. I was kind of wondering what it would do as far as the effect it had on the tempo of the game. Well, for LeBaron, it was easy. LeBaron was ready. He did what he needed to. He saw, okay, these guards are going to crash. I'm going to crash too. I'm going to get this rebound. And then, well, look, your guards are not back. So I'm at the same point in the court that you guys are. So, yeah, we are going to sprint down this court. And that was what really made this game a blowout. Because you look, it didn't take long at all for Texas Tech, the fatigue to start showing. Like, I would say by the back half of the first half, you could tell, like, yeah, this is only going to get worse from here for the Red Raiders because LeBaron is pushing the pace every single possession. And they just had no answer. They had no answer whatsoever. And then that only was further accentuated on the other end by now these tired players who weren't in full position aren't able to secure a defensive rebound, and Alabama gets the board. And now you have another chance just like that. How many threes? I probably should have calculated this before. How many threes did Alabama hit off offensive rebounds?
Oh, great question. Hold
Millette,
on.
I know his first offensive rebound led to a three, and then a moment later, he shot a three off an offensive rebound by, I think, Sherelle. Like, it was just everything was going right on the glass, and it all circles back as far as the on-court stuff goes. It all circles back to LeBaron Philon showing he can control a game, playing some of the most intentional, deliberate basketball I've ever seen him play. Even yeah, sure, you shot 12 times, but he also knew when to pass that ball up. I said he had some bad misses as far as like, oh man, that's a shot he usually hits. I probably worded that wrong. His shot selection was fine. He took the shots that you want LeBaron Philon taking. It didn't feel like he was forcing things. It felt like he was still. It almost felt like the shots came down to luck. Right? I feel like we could have just as easily been talking about, oh, LeBaron shot 5 of 12 and had, 14, like 14 points. It could have been very different. Just great performance from him and a game that shows he can do more than just score. We've seen the impact he has outside of just scoring, and it was on display today.
Looks like just one of the threes in the first half came off offensive rebound, but you had a double offensive rebound possession right there. It was Houston Millette and Latrell Wrightsell getting offensive rebounds, setting up the first Houston Millette 3-point shot. But now here we go. In the second half, there's another that's two threes off of offensive rebounds in the second half. I just keep scrolling on down with using Control F. A lot of these are made tip-in rebounds or made tip-ins. You had the one. The most impressive to me, outside of Houston just going crazy because he had 5 himself, but was LeBaron tipping it to Houston, or tipping it to Aiden Sherelle. Ball came to him into a crowd of people, and it was LeBaron just tipping it right over volleyball style to Sherelle, who layupped it in. And so just really, really impressive. The teamwork and the work on the glass. And you shot really well, but I think that you put yourself in a really strong position outside of shooting really well by getting after it on the glass. The first half also, just want to point the one number out. We haven't talked about points per possession defensively for a long, long time because, quite frankly, Alabama's really been off the mark. Coach a couple years ago used to say, "Oh, we like our defensive points per possession. The goal is between 0.6 and 0.8. 0.6 and 0.8 is the goal." Well, we've seen this Alabama basketball team this year really allow 1.1, 1.5, 1.0. Just really absurd points per possession in the first half. Held Texas Tech to 0.758. So really, really, really great half right there. Obviously, Alabama on defense has been a huge struggle this whole season. But after the game, Latrell sitting there saying, we knew we needed to step forward on the defensive side of the ball. And I told everybody after the Ole Miss loss that I see a lot of similarities. Well, think back to the Final Four run that he refers to. Alabama's regular season defense that year was like 102, was awful, was like really, really, really bad. Alabama's defensive efficiency this season is right now at 60. So like not great, but a whole lot better than 102. You're at 60 in defensive efficiency right now. You had a really, really strong performance in both games defensively. Now I think that but each team, Hofstra, I think each team, Hofstra and Texas Tech, had a little bit of not one arm tied behind their back, but just kind of deficiencies. Hofstra had the 2 guards, but not enough outside of the 2 guards, and then Texas Tech didn't have JT Toppin, and I think they were on some thin legs with the other guards, and so you did get the benefit of 2 matchups really going your way, but to hold them to 0.758 in that first half really allowed you to build up a nice lead. Now, Texas Tech had a much better second half. They ended up with 1.25 in the second half for an overall game score of 0.929. So you held them under 1 point per possession, and you were able to basically cruise to victory. I think the defensive end, we're all going to look at the offensive numbers, the 3-point numbers from Latrell and Houston, and look, 19 of 42 is a really nice number. If we can take that into Friday, 19 of 42, you're going to give yourself a puncher's chance. But really, to me, it was the defensive end and the rebounding, as you already kind of outlined, that allowed Alabama to get those extra shots and to really get into Texas Tech and to bury them.
I completely agree. It was performance that I frankly didn't know this team was capable of, if we're being honest. Alabama is I forget the exact stat. I've been pouring through the Ken Pominus, the advanced stuff.
Lord Kenny Pomeroy.
As I prepare to write an analysis on this Michigan game, but Alabama is astounding in just about every metric over these first two rounds, and it gives a lot more confidence going into Michigan than I would have had. I use confidence lightly because I have very little confidence in Alabama.
Well, you can't pick Alabama now, just for the sake of the bid at this point.
No, yeah, it's like I said, I have very little confidence. I have very little that you're going to be able to beat an elite Michigan team. But you're playing inspired basketball that I don't know, maybe you have a chance. It's always going to be who knows, man. It's March. You have a team that has shown it can play elite. You have a team that shown it can also play pretty poorly. We'll see. We'll talk about Michigan more later in the week. I know you'll be there talking to Coach May and the Wolverines, right?
We'll be up there on Wednesday evening, big press availability on Thursday. Theo, you opened the show, rightfully so, with an apology, but I need to make one as well.
Let's hear it.
I need to make an apology to the Patriot League Player of the Year last year, Mr. Bucknell, Noah Williamson. Yes, you, Noah, who I have been down on all season long, who I have called unplayable at certain times this year. Noah Williamson goes back-to-back games. Only one player on the team hasn't missed a three-point shot in the NCAA tournament, and that is you, Mr. Noah Williamson. Noah Williamson, 3 of 3 over the weekend, 2 3-pointers against Texas Tech on Sunday. 3 of 3. He ends up scoring 11 points on the weekend, ends up scoring 11 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds in, where's my minutes? Where's your minutes? In 17 minutes of action over 2 games. Noah. Look, man, all we need is that. Just a little something. Not, I don't need you to get a dozen points and a dozen rebounds. That's A-okay. But just a little something. It was great. Oh, it was so great. His performance over the weekend. Yes, you have the couple turnovers, 3 turnovers in the in the 2 games, 2 against Texas Tech, but he got himself a couple steals as well, and was I don't want to say defensive presence, but he was there, and he wasn't completely just falling all down around himself like we've seen him do a lot this year. I have been extremely down on you, Noah, throughout the entire season. I have wondered what basketball is like in the Patriot League because of you. I have wondered what Bucknell really is like playing basketball because of you. But this weekend, you did everything that you needed to do to say, yeah, we're happy we got Noah Williamson in the transfer portal. When you got him last summer, you never were expecting him to be SEC Player of the Year. You were never expecting him. I mean, I don't think anybody was. I'll speak for myself. I wasn't expecting him to be a 12-12 guy. I was expecting him to give you a 3-pointer or 2 here or there, to give you a rebound or 4. No more than I was expecting a rebound or 4, and to stand in the middle of the lane and make things tough on people. That's what he did this weekend. Gave you a rebound or 2, stood in the middle of the lane, made things tough on you, and then when the ball found him in the corner, I'm just going to take this shot and stroke it. And beyond that, the screening and the ability to he had an opportunity to shoot a third 3-point shot against Texas Tech, and it was, somebody's closing out on me. It might get a little tight. He takes one dribble, passes it to Millette, screens the guy that was coming to block his shot, and Millette, boom, drains it because a massive screen is set open the open shot for Houston Millette. And obviously, I think we all agree that we'd like Houston to take those shots over Noah. But and so just high basketball IQ out of Noah this weekend. When it's my turn to shoot, when the ball finds me in the corner and nobody's around me, bam, I'm gonna make you pay for it. And really, I will give you max effort on defense, max effort rebounding. Yeah, sometimes the strength isn't quite there, the athleticism isn't quite there, but his IQ was very, very good this weekend, and he did exactly what you needed him to do off the bench, giving Sherelle some minutes. Sherelle getting 4 fouls against Texas Tech's going to have to, take that into account on Friday, but you were able to use Noah, and he gave you the minutes that you wanted. He gave you exactly what you wanted when you got him in the transfer portal. I have been extremely down on you, Noah, all season long. I have been maybe borderline mean at some points. I will own that. But you did everything that you needed to do this weekend to earn an apology and to earn a kudos. And then when Coach Oates in the post-game press conference said, Noah came to me before the game and said, Coach, I don't want to be the reason we lose. I don't want to be the reason we lose. I'll give you everything I have. I'll give you all I have today. I thought, wow, man, we've been, I have been maybe a little unfairly harsh on Noah Williamson.
I don't think it's been unfair, because when I look at Noah and what my expectations were coming in, I think we all would have understood a world where, Noah just shows up here and he's not quite physically able to compete inside all the time. I think a lot of us probably expected him to, look what he did last year. He probably can compete in there. But I think we all would have understood the reality that maybe he just wasn't able to hang inside sometimes. What I think has been my biggest frustration with Williamson's play this season is why do you look so unable to do anything when you get the ball outside of the paint, right? Or when you have the ball out in that corner and you still look like the same, wait, this guy doesn't play basketball or anything. So I think that has been the weird thing for me that almost, it makes you think it has been a confidence thing, or the play inside is affecting everywhere, because this is a guy who showed an ability to knock down threes, showed an ability to be a very solid passer. Like, he has some nice passes in his Patriot League footage, right? And Nate Oates even talked about it after the Furman scrimmage earlier in the season, where Noah Williamson is a nice passer for a big man. And that's really what impressed me from this weekend. This is what I've been waiting to see. So I know he passed up a 3 in the he had 2 assists, right?
2 assists, yes.
And one of them was the Millette 3, and the other was he had the ball with a look at the 3, gave it to Bull Bowen, set the screen, and Bull Bowen went to the hole.
Yeah, both of them coming in the second half, taking Alabama 66-69, and then later from 60 to 71. So you're right.
Right. And those are the plays you want this guy to make. You want him to be this stretch big that, Noah Williamson has the ball out, and the opponent is thinking, Noah Williamson has the ball out there. We've got to do something, because we know he can pop it, and we know that shot is an okay shot at going in.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to be ready for, he has shown an ability to pass. And let me say, the screens that he looked like a lead blocker out there. Definitely, liberal interpretation of the moving screen rule on those. I mean,
Sherelle too this weekend.
And let's be honest, that is March. That's what you have to be prepared for. I noticed it so many times. I made it a point during the Iowa-Florida game with just how close I was standing to. So Iowa runs a very screen-heavy offense, and they were scoring over by us. I was like, let's see how many of these are actually being called.
Only 1 or 2 in both games, because Noah got an offensive foul for that. Very few. I think Iowa did as well, just 1 or 2. Extremely few. And it's like the NFL, or it's like the college football. I'm not picking the guy. I'm not picking off a defensive back, but I am picking off a defensive back because I'm jogging on my route. Oh, I happen to get run into.
Yeah. Right. It's going to be called very little, and it's certainly, you don't expect it to be called often. And he just keep an eye out if you want to play a little game as a viewer, maybe during a game that you don't care all that much about and you're just watching for fun. Keep an eye out for how many moving screens actually get called versus how many you notice. That's just a little side tangent there. But yeah, Noah Williamson really just impressed me with what he did offensively. And Henry actually gave me what I think was a very interesting take.
Let's hear it.
I hadn't thought about the idea that, well, yeah, all these Noah Williamson minutes are preparing this team for the fact that you need him against Michigan. You know, that they've been giving him this expanded role, and you it's going to be a lot harder to win this Michigan game without him doing big things for you, because Sherrell is going to have his hands full from the beginning. I find it hard to envision a world where Alabama stays somewhat competitive at all against these two Michigan bigs that are always going to be on the court without having a second of your own, right? Like, I'm sorry, but if we're going London Jemison trying to stop these guys, I don't see that happening. So I think I could see Bull Bowen being the starting power forward for this game, which I can't even think of the last time Taylor has started for this team. Like, I'm drawing a complete blank I know he definitely started some games earlier in the year, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But it's been a while. I think you're going to start Bull Bowen there. But I think Noah is the guy who gives you a better shot at competing inside and out. I just think both those guys are going to play really big roles. And, man, it's going to be – we're feeling really good about what Noah Williamson did this weekend, but he's going to need to do that on steroids to give you a chance against Michigan.
Absolutely. So let's keep it going with the basketball conversation and deal out to the voicemail line with our friend Dax. Dax watched the games this weekend. Here is Dax at 205-462-7340 extension.
It's Dax. I don't think I've sent a basketball voicemail like the whole season. I don't know why, but super proud of the boys for mollywopping Texas Tech. I saw a tweet that somebody said Auburn would even beat Texas Tech last night, and that was kind of amusing. Honestly, I don't think he's wrong. I think Auburn might have had a chance against Texas Tech last night. I don't know what was going on with them, but they weren't playing good, and we were playing out of our freaking minds. We had like 12 offensive rebounds in the first 8 minutes of the game. I want to put some of it on luck because the ball was literally just bouncing directly to our players, but it's not all luck because we were giving a stupid amount of effort. Everybody on the court. Noah Williamson, 3 for 3 on three-pointers. What was that? Where's that been, Noah? That's how you know it's a good day, is when Noah Williamson and he was getting rebounds over people. He was diving for balls. Noah Williamson had himself a day, and I'm proud of him for that. 2 for 2 on three-pointers. Anyway, he was 3 for 3. He was 100% on his shots. That was the prettiest basketball game I have seen this team play in a very long time. This season, for sure. But now we have Michigan to look forward to. Yay. They are the top. They have the best odds out of everybody left in the bracket to win the championship. We can do it if we play as good as we did last night. But I'm going to give you my honest opinion. There ain't no way we do that again. We played way too good. And just from past experience, there is no way that can happen twice in a row. But we do have Nate Oates as a basketball coach, so anything can happen. I just don't think it will. I think Michigan's going to win. I think it'll be close. I hope it's going to be close. I do not want to get run out of the gym in the Sweet 16. So I think Michigan's going to beat us about 87-80. I'll go 87-80. But if we win, and if Tennessee beats Iowa State, there will be war on Twitter. It is. I want that to happen because I would love to play Tennessee at a neutral site for a spot in the Final Four. Actually, it would take 5 or 6 years off of my life But that just sounds like an amazing storyline. Very, very unlikely for that to happen because Tennessee's going to have to pull out a miracle to beat Iowa State. But it could happen. There's like a 4% chance that it maybe less than that, but it would be amazing. Anyway, that's all I got on basketball. Just super proud of the boys. It's been a great season considering we made the Sweet 16, so that qualifies the season. Is great. Thank you, Nate Oates. We love you. Don't pay attention to people who want to fire you. You already know you're better than they are. So love y'all, boys. Roll Tide.
I know you're going to want to react to the prospect of playing Tennessee, but before we get into that,
go ahead.
We have to give Nate Oates his flowers here. The Sweet 16 is a hard thing to make. It is an even harder thing to make consistently. Todd Golden leads the Florida Gators to a national championship. Look at his NCAA tournament career outside of that run. Look at how many coaches over the years we're having consistently good teams, and we are getting upset in the round of 32, or we are just unable to take care of business in the first weekend. That was, I think Jay Wright is one of the best coaches of all time.
Definitely.
The amount of times that he just got overmatched in a round of 32 matchup, and it would be, we're a 1 seed. Oh man, we just lost in the round of 32. I remember NC State beating them, and then I think it was the next year that they won their national championship. And then the year after that, we're back out to losing in the round of 32. And then we win, and then we're out early. And it was just so many coaches can even Coach K getting upset by Lehigh and Mercer in like a 4-year span, right? Nate Oates, his ability to, first of all, a guy who has never been upset. And I'm not counting a game against a San Diego State team that would go on to play for a national championship. Like, that's not an upset. Being a 6-11 against a power conference team in Notre Dame, like, that's not an upset. You've avoided we take care of business against Charleston, and Grand Canyon's hanging around in this game. We shut them down. Hofstra, I came in talking about how they could do it, like what they could do to win that game. Didn't happen. Nate Oates just continues to take care of the small matchups. And look, I guarantee you that if he continues to stick around here, it's going to happen eventually. Like, it will, there will be that year where somebody finally, pulls off an upset against Alabama. It's a matter of time. But the consistency from this guy, 2021, 2023, 24, 25, 26. That is 5 Sweet 16s in 6 years. That is insane. That is, it is almost unfathomable, honestly. When we talk about Nate Oates, I think, has to be included on the list of top 5 coaches in the country when you look at just the consistency in the tournament. The fact national media needs to talk about this more. The consistency of this program.
No, they don't. Because North Carolina job is about to open. They don't need to talk about Nate at all.
Well, look, let's be real. Every single program understands how insane this is.
Yes,
Every
they do.
single
Yes,
program
they do. Yeah.
would do just about, Nate Oates is the number 1 guy for North Carolina. I guarantee you they want him more than anyone else on that list. I don't think fans necessarily understand just how absurd what Nate has done is, especially when you compare it, obviously, to the history of the program before.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything you said. We are living in the good old days for Alabama basketball. It was Coach Wimp Sanderson, and now it's Nate Oates. And he had a couple blips in between with some good years and some good coaching, but the consistency, the bar has absolutely raised here around the Crimson Tide basketball program, and Nate Oates is the catalyst for raising that bar, and absolutely should get a lot of credit for. I mean, look, you could talk about good draw, lucky draw, and that has happened here or there, but when you make it 5 out of 6 years and 4 years in a row, it can't be a lucky draw every single year. It can't be the other team shot poorly every single year. You have to have a good game plan. You have to have good execution. You have to have good time management, preparation management for the weekend. I mean, it's not easy to go Friday, Sunday. You got to have good preparation and good management. And Nate has shown that, hey, if it's a weekend tournament, we got to win 2 games. I have a good shot at making a good game plan, inspiring the boys, and getting everybody ready to play in these 2 games and getting us to the Sweet 16. Which is, look, at this point, if you beat Michigan, great, awesome. If you lose, hopefully you don't lose by too bad. But at this point, you have reached probably the ceiling of this team, the expected ceiling of this team, considering what all that you've gone through this year with injuries and off-court drama, eligibility this, law enforcement that, like all kinds of stuff that you've been dealing with this year. I think you've met expectations, and look around the country. Lots of programs that consider themselves highly did not meet expectations. I think you're just automatically thinking about North Carolina and Gonzaga right off the top of your head. Look, Mark Few is a great coach and has led a great Gonzaga program for a long, long time, but they are looking at themselves like, golly, wasted opportunity, missed a chance. Texas got us, and while it's a Power 4 team, like, Texas didn't really have a great season. Got hot late and put some things together. But Gonzaga is looking at Mark Few like, oh, you shouldn't have lost to Texas. And same sort of thing with North Carolina. They go, oh, you should VCU. Why are you losing to VCU? They're below us. And so like you could be Alabama this morning thinking about, Texas Tech on that last second shot got us. But no, you had 2 comfortable wins. Look, a lot of you maybe went to bed early on Sunday, considering the tip-off time. Up halftime, big lead. We got this. I'm going to bed. I got to work on Monday morning. And Nate Oates gave that to you and has given you that consistency year in and year out. And I think he absolutely deserves his flowers.
Gonzaga is not saying anything to Mark Few at all.
No, but
Gonzaga made 9 straight Sweet 16s up until last year.
Point being, not to fire Mark Few. Point being, disappointed in losing to Texas.
All right,
disappointed.
I saw a post.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, but just disappointed in the simple. We lost to Texas. We should be going another round. Okay, I saw a post.
Sure,
saying, you're good.
Should Gonzaga fire?
No,
Mark Few? And
that's not my position.
Okay.
My position is disappointment in losing in the round of 32.
And that disappointment happens to every program.
Yes.
That's the point.
Yes.
The fact that Alabama's avoided it, incredible.
Exactly that. Not trying to get hit, but just saying, they're dealing with some disappointment today, this week. Yeah. Let's wrap up the basketball with Dak's comment. Nightmare scenario. Nightmare.
Scenario.
No.
Dream scenario. I don't want to, Joe. The opportunity for Alabama to Tennessee has played in the 3rd most NCAA tournaments without a Final Four appearance. The opportunity for Alabama to extend that streak. Don't tell me for 1 second that you do not want that game.
Let's go Cyclones.
That is the softest comment I have heard you make. The softest comment you have made in 1 year of me going on the show.
I have no interest in playing Tennessee in the NCAA tournament.
Game.
0.
Every Alabama fan, every Tennessee fan should want that game.
They should want it. They're 5-1 over the last 6 games against Alabama. Of course they should want it.
What's their record in the last 1 matchup against the Crimson?
Okay, 0-1. Right.
Yeah, what's that?
And in that game, it took a Nate Ament injury for Alabama to start to dig back in. And a Nate Ament injury and a LeBaron Philon game winner to win the game.
You do not shy away from the rivalry. You do not.
I'll be a sick person in Chicago if that's how it plays. Now I will cover the game on Sunday, but I will be puking in a bag the entire day Sunday. If that's how it plays out, there's no world. Okay, here's the question: who has a better chance to beat Tennessee? Is it Michigan or is it Alabama?
Michigan.
Okay.
Michigan is a much better basketball. Michigan has a better chance to beat anybody in the nation.
Okay, fine. The point is, we've never been to a Final Four for Tennessee. Has to remain another 3 weeks and another year, right?
And
Michigan can knock them out. Alabama could knock them, but I think it's very likely that Tennessee beats Alabama and goes to the Final Four, and that is not a world that I want to live in.
When you get to the Elite Eight, any possible scenario is very likely.
Sure.
And like it's very likely no matter what. First of all, let's just say, like, I think Iowa State is the better team. I think it's pretty close to, I'd go 60-40 Iowa State.
Sure.
Like, Tennessee is,
they got a
they've
shot.
shown nice things. Tennessee is right in there.
All right. You guys can let me know. Am I extremely soft? I have no interest in seeing Tennessee on Sunday in the Elite Eight. It's either Alabama, Iowa State. It's either Michigan, Iowa State. Yeah, that's preferred.
And then on the flip side, like, imagine even if Tennessee fans make the Elite Eight, right, and lose to Michigan, like, they still got around further than Crimson Tide. How do you feel in that world?
That's fine. I mean, that's okay.
No, you want to be the reason that Tennessee. I mean, obviously, you want Tennessee to lose to Iowa State, right? Because you want, at the end of the day, if you're an Alabama fan, to say, yeah, look, we made it further than you. That game with the trip to the Final Four on the line, does it get any better than that?
That sounds like hell. That sounds like the definition of that's Dante's ninth circle. Wasn't there only 7 circles in Dante's story?
Not familiar with this. I mean, I get what you're referencing. I just don't know how many circles.
I think it's 7 circles of hell, 9 circles of hell. Whatever it is, it's the last one.
You want this game. The whole program wants this game. The whole conference wants to watch this game. Everybody wants. Well, the conference probably doesn't, because then one school will make it to the Final Four. But
it guarantees the conference gets someone in the Final Four. Yeah, they like that.
That's why SEC fans are soft too.
Well,
that's a different argument.
I was just thinking about Greg Sankey.
Oh yeah, I'm saying.
I wasn't thinking about it from the fans. I was thinking about it from Greg Sankey's perspective. No, if it is Alabama or Tennessee in the Final Four or no one, I'm taking no one. If the opportunity is either Alabama or Tennessee or no one in equal opportunity, give me no one.
No one. Yeah, easy. Every SEC fan should feel that way.
Oh man. Let's finish up for the day. We're right at 50 minutes. So Theo, you're gonna have to talk about baseball tomorrow. Okay. I am gonna see if Henry wants to sit in the seat tomorrow, and if he does, great, because Katie and I are gonna be driving. If he doesn't, then we'll work something out, and we'll still do a show, you and I. But before we do tell everybody about football today and take Dax's second voicemail, we want to tell you about Purple Turtle Roofing. At Purple Turtle Roofing, we're not just another contractor. We're your neighbor and your advocate when it comes to protecting your home or business. With years of hands-on experience, top-tier certification, and a commitment to excellence, we've built a reputation as Alabama's go-to roofing solution. We specialize in residential roofing, commercial roofing, emergency storm repairs, full-on roof replacement, insurance claim support, and more. Check them out online at roofturtle.com or call them at 877-787-6635 today for a free roof inspection. They'll come out and check out your metal roof, your shingle roof, really whatever you got going on with your roof. They'll come check it out to give you the information and peace of mind that you deserve. Purple Turtle Roofing, roofing with heart, built to last. Visit them at roofturtle.com. All right, so we are going to be going over to the Malmore Athletic Facility here in just a little bit to hear from some Alabama football players as spring practice has continued. You can see it on the Bama Central YouTube channel. Look, the Bama Central YouTube channel, great place to see all of the action from the weekend. We were in the locker room multiple times this weekend talking to all the basketball players about their weekend, their hopes to advance, their dreams, their on-court, off-court, all kinds of stuff. Interviews right there in the locker room on the Bama Central YouTube channel. But let's go to the voicemail line once again, because Dax called last week when we were kind of really heavy in basketball. I think he's predicting some All-Americans on this current Alabama team. So I think he's spinning forward about 9 months already, which is great. I think he's got some predictions for who on this football team, will be named All-American. Going to give it a second to switch to the next voicemail.
What up, guys? It's Dax. Hadn't called in a while. Had a bunch of personal stuff going on, but I was listening to a discussion today where they were predicting by the end of the season this year, the football season, like our All-American candidates, and I thought that would be a great idea to bring to the wonderful Joe Gaither show. So starting off the list, this should be everyone's number one, Jan Zapier. I am 100% confident that, barring injury, knock on wood, this man's going to have a double-digit sack season. He probably would have last year had he started every game. So Yanze Pierre, number 1. Number 2, I'm going with Ryan Williams. People are down on this kid, and he is going to show them he's going to show everybody who's down on him just how wrong they're going to be. History is going to repeat itself. He's the 4th or 5th leading Alabama receiver in yards and receptions over the first 2 years. Ryan Williams is going to have an insane season next year. 3, whoever the starting quarterback is. Like I said, I'm in the Austin Mack camp, but I'm not confident. I'm like 51-49 right now. So either Austin or Keelan, one of the two. God, it's gonna be fantastic. I cannot wait. 4, I had him at number 7 on my preseason top 10 players list, and that's Mr. Rayson Delgatti. Bro came out and won the starting center job within 2 practices. Hopefully I hit on that one. Really hope so. And number 5, like I think it's safe to go 5 or 6 players deep, since I'm talking about first and second team All-Americans. Number 5, we're going to go Mr. Bray Hubbard. Dude is going to be an even more studly this year. I think he's gained some weight, so he's going to be playing in the box more. Man, Bray Hubbard's a thumper. That white boy got some motion, I tell you what. And we'll stop it at 6. We're going to go Sabian and Dijon both can do it. They both can. So we'll go 6A and 6B, Sabian and Dijon Lee. We've got even more players that could be candidates, but I don't want to go overboard and tell y'all we're going to have 10 All-American candidates because that would be stupid, and that probably won't happen. But we have a lot of players with a lot of potential. So, yep, there's my list. Hope y'all enjoyed, and hope y'all have some good discussion. Remember, postseason, not preseason All-Americans. We're going postseason after the season's over. Hope y'all boys rotate.
There he is, Dax on the voicemail line. We appreciate you chiming in for us over the weekend a couple times. You can call it 205-462-7340, extension 800. If you want to join us on the voicemail line, we appreciate your thoughts and comments on this basketball team, on this football team, on the baseball program, winning 3 in a row over the Florida. Softball getting a big all-series victory over Missouri as well. Lots of topics you guys can jump in and join us on. Any qualms with that? Any complaints with that? I mean, little presumptuous to put whatever starting quarterback in there.
Yes.
Now I like it, but
my biggest thing on there is I'd have number 6 and number 1.
Sabian, right?
And okay, so I guess
Sabian and Yanzi.
2 questions.
Go ahead.
I like the 6A, 6B because I think it's hard to analyze right now. I don't quite know who our best quarterback is. Is it in your opinion, is it clearly Sabian or is it a 1A, 1B situation?
It's Sabian because of his polish to me, because of his attention to detail and technique. Now, Dijon, not saying doesn't have the attention to detail or has bad technique. I just think that Sabian's polish and experience in the program and experience in college football gives him a slight edge. I like really both of them athletically.
Yes.
I like Dijon maybe a little more physically, just as far as an athlete and physically and lengthwise for that. But I think that Sabian has just has a really high level feel for defensive back play. I was going to compare him to an all-time great, but I don't want to do that. I think that he has a really good feel for playing cornerback in college, and that gives him a slight edge over Dijon.
I agree that I'm not agree because he didn't say it, but I think that they're both day 1 level talents.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bold take at
Agreed.
all. And the main reason is you look at the polish, right? Well, DJ has a year playing in the system now, and he didn't, yes, he had his moments last year, right? Where it was this is clearly a freshman out there. But you almost feel like his going to be a lot more composed. He's going to be a lot more, yes, I understand this game a lot better. The same way Sabian took those jumps, right? I just look at, when you have 2 elite corners playing next to each other, so much of, frankly, the all-American discourse, right, is going to come down to, well, what were those receiver numbers? What were, did a clip go viral of you getting burned, right? Because let's be frank, all these voters aren't sitting down and watching every snap. So I feel like it's almost like a crapshoot of, well, what did we see? What stuff did we catch? And I almost look at Dijon as I don't know. It's pure random. But I think that I would put one of those two, as my number one.
Well, if one player has two massive pick sixes, both at the end of halves to flip games into Alabama's favor, I think that he's probably going to get a little nod when you make a huge play like that. The only other pushback I've got now, I like Dax's boldness as far as selecting whichever starting quarterback that's going to be All-American level play. I do have high expectations for both the quarterbacks. I think that's a little presumptuous, but the only one that I thought, oh, you might have missed there. I like Grayson Delgado a lot. I think what you've got a lot of potential right there, but it's quite a jump to go from D2 to SEC play. I think he is a nasty boy. I think he's a nasty boy at center, and so that's really a great starting point. And his experience is very good. I think that's a great starting point. I think you could have someone there that impresses and that doesn't make you feel the loss of Parker Browns for too much. But the other factor is there's only like 3 centers in the whole country that are going to get selected as All-Americans. Even if Rayson doesn't get selected as one of those 3 centers, doesn't mean he's bad. Yeah. No, not at all. But there's only 3 spots that can go there for 150, 135 different centers. I think that would be pretty tough for him to earn that selection, but I am excited for it.
Joe, I think I agree on the Delgado thing. I think my top 4 All-American candidates are all defensive players, right?
Yeah,
I think it's the 2 corners, Bray and Yanze. Not in that. I'd probably put Yanze 2, 3. I could see any combination of those 4 players making the list.
Certainly.
Right? Like, would you any disagreement in that?
No. I think that all 4 of them are great candidates to be selected as All-American for sure.
I would go Ryan number 1 as the offensive, right? And probably 5 overall, if I had to say. I think that gives you 5 candidates that you could realistically see on that list. I'm not going to go Rayson Delgado, and I'm certainly not going to go one of those QBs right now. I think, hey, if the starting QB is a second team All SEC selection, that's the goal. And even that's a big jump, right? You won't necessarily get that level. It's hard to say, but I think 5 candidates in your 2 cornerbacks, Bray Hubbard, Yanze Pierre. And yes, Ryan Coleman Williams could come out and take the jump. I will throw out one other, though.
Please.
I'm going to throw out Michael Carroll. I'm like freshman All-American. Your starter. And you talk about polish, right? A guy who's going to come out as a much cleaner version of himself. And that's without ignoring, who knows what jumps he's taken physically, right? Who knows how much stronger he is. But just the fact of anchor on the right side for this team, an offensive line that should be improved. Michael Carroll, I would not pencil him in because that's a big word, but I think if we're talking especially All SEC team, All-Americans, a jump up. He could be at that level this year. Any others that we're missing?
No, I like Michael Carroll as a pick for sure. And you're going to have a monster season from a running back to get put on that list. So I don't know that that's I don't know that that's going to happen. I think you got a good framework right there. I think you got a good framework of 5 or 6 players that I would agree with. The 4 defensive guys, Ryan Williams and Michael Carroll are probably, that probably makes me feel good. All right, Theo, so let's get out of here for the day. We're going to go talk to Alabama football players at 11. You can see it on the Bama Central YouTube channel right there. We will have Alabama Pro Day tomorrow. You're going, right?
Yes.
Okay, Pro Day in the facility tomorrow. Going to be a little more relaxed. It's very. You've done a Pro Day before, haven't you?
No, it's my first one.
It's interesting. They're fun, but they're not as. I don't know. They're fun. They're a little more relaxed than our normal times in the facility. It's a weird combination of a mixture of relax, and some high level seriousness because all the scouts are going to sit there with their watches, dude. do not take your daggum stopwatch in there. Not you, Theo, but like all the reporters, leave your stopwatches at home because you're going to be clocking guys from 20 yards away. You're not going to be up on them when they get their start, and you're not at the start line. So like it's going to be real. You'll see some of the reporters with a stopwatch, and it's totally worthless. It's completely worthless.
If you're off by 0.05,
right?
Like it's a big difference.
It's completely worthless. So they're going to be timed in the facility by actual scouts. They'll be sitting on the starting line and on the finish line, so they'll have really good angles. If you see Ryan Poles, if you see my man Ben Johnson, tell him hello. Tell him hello. And look, what do we want to tell them? We want to tell them Parker Brailsford in the third round. That's what we want to tell them.
I'll tell them.
Yeah,
I'm hoping Harbaugh's there.
Parker Brailsford in the third round. Tim Keenan in the seventh.
You want Keenan in the seventh?
Yeah.
Hey, Keenan, like you think about guys who have stuff on the line tomorrow.
Huge.
I mean, with what Tim Keenan did at the combine, man, like he needs some redemption here. He needs a big day.
Yeah, Deontay Lawson, 6th round pick for us for the Bears. That'd be right. Now, all those guys probably will be picked a round or 3 earlier than I just said, but I want good value.
Joe, it's not, I don't know if it's just me, but the Ty Simpson discourse just has come out of nowhere over the past 3 days. I keep seeing things about
it's because he's a first rounder.
He's a first rounder, but out of nowhere over the past 2 days, it's become Ty Simpson might be the number 1 QB in the draft.
Well, might be. I know Mendoza was great, Heisman Trophy winner, national champion, but I do not see an NFL game changer. I see an RPO merchant. I see a back shoulder throw RPO merchant that works in college when you have to play the run or else you're getting 8 yards up the gut because the Indiana's offensive line was so good and their running backs were very, very talented. So if you don't play the run, you're getting gashed for 7 to 8 yards a pop, and therefore the pass option in the RPO becomes very wide open. And I think, look, I don't know about Fernando's ability to read a defense post snap on true passing plays. I think he's got a good arm. But yeah, if I were an NFL team, which praise the Lord that I'm not an NFL team that needs a quarterback because Caleb Williams exists. But if I were an NFL team that needed a quarterback and you said Ty Simpson or Fernando, I know I'm closer to Ty, so like recency bias, proximity bias exists right there. But I think Ty reads the defense very well. I think that he needs more experience. He needs more reps. He needs a lot more reps. So that would concern me. You kind of seeing the first-year starting quarterback. You've seen that. For 1 year starting quarterback goes to the NFL and doesn't have enough reps, doesn't have enough of a foundation to really excel. He needs more reps. Ty does. But if you said you only get one quarterback, like if I'm the Raiders, I'm doing everything I can. Trade out of the first pick. Take Ty at 12. Take Ty at 11. Take Ty at 15. But they're not going to be doing that. They're going to take Fernando at 1. And I don't think he's a first, like 1.1 kind of a talent.
What I've been kind of thinking, and I guess implying, is I don't think Ty's available at 12.
Oh, 7, 6, 5.
The more, like that's how you know we're in draft season, right? When these QBs start riding up and up and up.
Let's get that man paid. Let's get Ty Simpson paid and not to the New York Jets.
I think the New York Jets picking
Steelers
right up at the front of that draft is going to create a lot of drama on will the Jets take him? Will someone try to move up and take him?
Come on, Pittsburgh.
You guys have seen this happen a million times with QBs. Is Ty Simpson going to make the throws tomorrow at his pro day that gets him into the top 5, top 10? We see it happen all the time. Zach Wilson makes it crazy. Oh man, this guy's going to be
the hip flip, the flip of the hips on the launch.
Like you guys, this is going to be a fun day to monitor tomorrow. I'm excited to be covering it. Follow along at Theo Fernandez _X. I'll be tweeting out all the videos. Probably gonna have a fun day on Twitter with the engagement. So.
Exactly. Oh man, sad. We used to get Bill Belichick to come for the pro days,
really,
and he would come in there with that surly look and just. Meh. But now, obviously, he's not winning no pro team no more.
So will John Harbaugh be there?
I would say decent chance.
That'd be awesome.
I would say decent chance.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. So it's going to be a lot of fun. You'll be able to follow Theo Fernandez at Theo Fernandez _. He will tell you about the baseball weekend tomorrow. We'll see what the show looks like tomorrow. It will either be Theo and myself or Theo and Henry, and we'll have a lot of fun right here on the Joe Gaither Show. It's going to be a huge week leading up to the Sweet 16 and working through spring practice as the Diamond Sports are also in full throw with SEC play. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We appreciate Purple Turtle Roofing for sponsoring the program, Derek Daniel State Farm for hosting the show. We had a lot of fun with you. Tell everybody about the show. Tell them about the show on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify, and subscribe to the Bama Central YouTube channel. This is the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com.
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Keep up with Joe on all his social media pages at Joe Gaither6. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to read us daily at BamaCentral.com.